the audio was so hard to hear, and that first day we did it, and I had them connect using the audio, using the phone, and that made just a big difference. So, okay. So today, again, these are the handouts you're going to need. Quiz 8C, summary, chapter 9 notes, and the magic formula sheet. Today we're going to do 9195, the confidence interval for two sample proportions, and we're also going to start in a 93, two sample means, independent. You have Connect Math 8.3 due tonight. Tuesday you have Connect Math 9195 due, so that's 5 days from now. We're going to go through this today, and that's going to be due, that homework's due 5 days from now. And then next Thursday you have Connect Math 9.3 due, which we're also going to start today. Also, Lab Part 5 is due on April 14th, and we'll kind of go through that at the very end of this class. We'll go over that a little bit. And then here are my office hours. Those are posted on Canvas. Someone also mentioned notes. If you need to pick up notes, I am totally, the exam is on the 21st, so it's going to be a week from Tuesday. So a week from Tuesday is our exam, and so we should finish up Chapter 9 next Tuesday, and then we'll review it on Thursday. We'll review everything on Thursday, and then you guys will have your exam on the 21st, and we'll have to sort out Proctorio between then and now. Yes.
If no video, if there is no video,
then you can use your phone. Then I'll have you connect through Zoom with your phone, because your phone has video, right?
Yeah.
And so email me if you do not have a webcam, because you're going to need to have a webcam that can point down. You know, if your computer is like, here's my computer, right? And if on my computer, I can point it down so that it kind of sees where my hands are. Hopefully. So as long as I can see kind of your hands, and you're not doing this or something like that, then you're good. And then it might be a little bit hard for you to read the questions, but we can kind of work with that a little bit. And you can always bring it up and read the question maybe, and then, I don't know, come back down. I'm not sure exactly. We'll have to sort of find some happy medium. Or actually, if you sit back far enough, you move back and have a couple, because you're going to need to have some working space anyways. Then you should be able to still see I can still see your hands. And I only have to see your papers, but I need to kind of see your hands so I can see what you're looking at and stuff like that. That's kind of all I need to do is see just part of your hand.
Yeah.
So that's for everybody. That's kind of what I need from you guys in terms of something coming up. Okay. Now.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So that kind of hopefully answers your question.
The test is going to be on only this two, chapter.
Right now we're just 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. We'll do this exam, and then we'll review 3, 5, and 6, and then we'll do that exam after that. So that exam will probably be on the 28th, because I want to review with you guys some of that before you go in there. And I will most likely I'll do a review session on the Monday before each of those, so that we have some extra review if you want some extra review. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. The other thing is, if you need handouts, if you don't have handouts, obviously we have a lot of handouts in this class, then pick them up from my front doorstep any time of the day. I don't care when it is, 5 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., middle of the day, whenever. It's on my front doorstep all the time, so you can stop by and pick it up. The only time I took it away was when it was pouring rain. It was getting really wet. But otherwise, it's always out there. And the directions to my house are on the announcements. The very bottom one, the very first one, which is on the bottom, that has towards the bottom of that announcement. So the bottom announcement has the instructions for how to get to my house and my address. Okay. So here is our, I'm going to do this with impossible writing on here and videotaping at the same time, so I'm going to use this one instead. So we're going to take a look at, again, we're going to be using the z-scores and doing kind of the traditional test. That's how we're going to do it, which is where we take the samples z-score, the test statistic, and compare that to the to the problem's z-score, the critical value determined by alpha. So this is the setup of the problem. So the problem's z-score, which is the critical value the problem decides, and compare that to what you got from the sample, or I should call this the claim. The claim's critical value, the claim based on the alpha, and then compare that to the sample's z-score. And again, if it's further away from the mean, then it's going to be unusual. So here are just, again, a reminder of the steps of the hypothesis test. Actually, I'm not going to go through these now because I'm going to go over them in just a second, because what we're going to do is we're going to bust out this sheet. Here, Chapter 8, Summary Steps, Hypothesis Summary Steps, so grab those, find it. We're going to go through these steps right now and talk about them. So find this handout. If you don't have it, get it, look for it. If you don't have the printouts, then that's okay. You'll just follow along and it'll make sense when we get them, because we'll be going over them now, so then they'll make more sense when you do have them in hand. Okay, so the first step is, we're going to go through these 5 steps, is stating the hypothesis and identifying the claim. The claim, so first write the claim using whatever it is. It's either going to be something's greater than, something's less than, something's equal to, or something's not equal to. Write down what the claim is. And then write H naught, which is always, always equals, always. Because H naught, H0, no difference, 0 difference, which means they're equal. So either P equals something or mu equals something, depends on whether it's a proportion or mean, but it's always going to be that the P equals something, the mu equals something. And then write down what H1 is. If your claim includes equals, if your claim is equals, then H naught's your claim, and H1 is the opposite of that, not equals. If your claim is not equals, if your claim is greater than, less than, or not equal to, then H1 becomes whatever your claim is, because one of them has to be your claim. So H1, and usually H1 will be your claim, typically. Typically your claim is going to be that you differ somehow. You're greater than or less than, or you're not equal to something. And then write down, indicate which one's your claim. So write claim next to the one that is your claim. And if H naught's your claim, then you're going to write reject in parentheses next to that also. If H1 is your claim, then you're going to write the word support in parentheses next to your claim. That's just is going to give you a hint to kind of how to solve or how to do that step 5, which is so elusive for folks. Okay, and then step 2, find the critical value and draw a picture. Don't forget, find the critical value and draw a picture. That should be on that note if it's not. And it's not. So you should add in and draw a picture to that step 2. So critical value, if it's a proportion, you're going to use the z-table, the z-distribution, which is the bottom row of the t-table. So again, proportions, z-table, easy peasy, proportion, z. And the t-table, right, so all these, so first of all, this tells you which column to use, depending on what you're doing. And then all the stuff in here, these are all t-distributions. This is your t-table, depending upon what your degrees of freedom is, your n, n minus 1. But this bottom row here, that is your z-table. Because we only need a handful of numbers from the z-table for these problems, because we only care about a handful of alphas. So depending on your significance level, you can use one of these numbers here. This right here is your z-table. So the bottom row of your t-table is your z-table. If it's a mean, you're going to use the t-distribution. Again, you're going to use your t-table and use degrees of freedom of n minus 1. Degrees of freedom is n minus your number of variables. You only have one variable, so it's going to be n minus 1. And look it up. And remember that the mean goes with t, mean Mr. T. Mean Mr. T looks mean, so the means go with the t-distribution. And then you're going to draw your picture. So draw your picture. If it's right-tailed, you're going to shade to the right. If it's left-tailed, you're going to shade to the left and put in your critical value. Again, your critical value is going to be negative if it's on the left, because all these z-scores are negative. On the right side, all the z-scores are positive from the center. And then step 3, you're going to find your test stat, your sample's z-score. So it's going to be the sample value minus the population value. So this is from the claim. Remember, this number is from the claim divided by the standard deviation. So you're going to use one of these formulas. again, the p hat and the x bar, those are from the sample. So it says a sample of blah, blah, blah has a mean of blah, 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 or has a percent of, a proportion of blah, 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 percent, 17% were blah, blah, blah. So that's from your sample. That's your p hat and your x bar, wherever it says sample. Or it might say surveyed or selected. Those are really sample as well. Claim, whatever is in your claim, that is your p and your mu. So the p or the mu, those come from the claim. Whatever your claim was, that's the number that goes there. People mix these up all the time. The claim is your p or your mu. Right, so that's where those come from. And then PQ over N or S over square root of N. All right, so those seem good. And then once you find that number, then you, after you write the formulas, you can use your TI calculator to compute the test stat. I think it's just easier just to compute it off your formula because it gets a little more confusing of how to put them in sometimes. But stat test t-test or stat test 1 prop z-test will find your test stat, compute your test stat for you. This again, t-test is for the mean, 1 proportion, z-test is for your proportion. Please note that the TI doesn't ask you what alpha is because alpha has nothing to do with step 3. So step 3 is all about your sample. Step 2 is all about alpha. So step 2 cares about alpha and not your sample. So step 2 is about your alpha, right? It's about kind of, it works with the numbers from your claim. Step 3 is about your sample. So that's just about the sample stuff. And then your step 4, you're going to, you put your test stat in, and we're not going to worry about the p-value. I'm not even going to sweat that because we don't have, it's just a lot harder online, so we'll ignore this part here. We're just going to focus on this. If you end up taking psychology or sociology or other things where you do other tests, you will often use a p-value method, but it's cleaner and easier just to do this. It's less complicated for right now, so we're just going to, since I'm making you guys do the theory, it's just easier to stick with this one way. So you're going to compare your z-scores. If your test stat is in the guilty region, way out here, it's unusual, right? This is because we expect stuff to be around here. The H-naught is right, it says that you're right here, so we expect you to get stuff in this range. If you get something unusual way out here, then it's more likely that your H-naught is not here. That it's really somewhere, closer to what you have. So we reject the null hypothesis. So if you get something unusual, then H-naught's probably not correct, and we reject the null hypothesis. So again, if this is in that guilty region, right over here is the rejection region, the guilty region, the enough evidence to convict region, then you're going to reject H-naught. If it's not, if it's in here, if your test stat ends up in here, then you're not going to reject H-naught. It's not unusual. And this is just another pictorial of that. So again, rejecting H-naught means that you're in this red area. Your test stat is in this red area, so you're guilty. We call it guilty because we have enough evidence. If you're over here, this is when we fail to reject H-naught because it's not guilty. We did not have enough evidence. It might be guilty, but we didn't have enough evidence. So we have to say that they're not guilty. So over here, again, anywhere over here, H-naught says you're right where this black line is. If you're anywhere in here, we figure, well, that could be just due to variance, so that seems okay. We're not going to reject H-naught. If you get something over here, then like, oh, wait a second, that's really strange. H-naught can't be correct. I must not be here. I must be, maybe over here somewhere. I'm just scrolling so slowly. Okay. And then, step 5, we start looking about how our claim relates to rejecting H-naught. So this is the beginning of step 5. Remember, we had that alphabet Q, R, S, T, U, V, right? So this is just to help you start things off. It's a mnemonic to help you remember. Q just starts you off. R is for H-naught. S is for H1, because H-naught is first, H1 is second. So if H-naught is your claim, then we're going to use R for rejects, because rejecting H-naught rejects your claim. If H1 is your claim, then we're going to use supports, because because rejecting H naught supports your claim. So I'm going to just kind of show you guys this real quickly. Come on. There we go. All right. So again, remember, if your claim is H naught, here's your claim, or here's H naught. If my claim is H naught, then rejecting H naught rejects my claim. They're together, right? So if my claim is H naught, then rejecting H naught rejects my claim. But if my claim is H1, so here's H naught, here's H1. If my claim is H1, rejecting H naught helps my claim, right? Because if this is wrong, then this must be good. So rejecting H naught supports my claim when my claim is H1. But rejecting H naught rejects my claim when my claim is H naught. So when my claim is H naught, rejecting H naught rejects my claim. When my claim is H1, then rejecting H naught helps my claim. So that's kind of supports my claim. So that's kind of why we use that phrasing there. And the RS is just to help you kind of remember it. All right, so then we're going to summarize the results. And again, if H naught's your claim, you're going to reject the claim. You're going to use the words reject the claim. If H1 is the claim, we're going to use you're testing, doing the whole test to see if you have enough evidence to support or not support your claim. Steps 2 through 4, they're just there to see whether or not you had sufficient evidence. That's all about the evidence part. All right, so step 5. All you need for step 5 are these words. And the black words never change. They're always going to be the same. They're blank, sufficient evidence to blank the claim that, and then whatever the claim is. Blah, 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 the claim. The things that change is this part right here. This is based upon step 4. If you do not reject H naught, then you do not have enough evidence. If you do reject H naught, then you do have enough evidence. Then you'd say there is enough evidence. So if you say, if the step 4 is do not reject H naught, then this is going to be not here as well. If the step 4 is reject H naught, do reject H naught, then this is going to be there is enough evidence. If you reject H naught, then you do have sufficient evidence. And then this part here is all about step 1. If H naught is your claim, you're going to use the word reject. If H1 is your claim, you're going to use the word support there. We're going to go through that more as we kind of go along, but it depends on which one's your claim. If H naught's your claim, use the word reject here. If H1's your claim, use the word support there. And then the very bottom of the page, we have this part about the exams. On exams, I'll expect you to. So it's at the very, very bottom of this Chapter 8 notes, right down here, the very bottom. There's a couple of changes we need to make to that, a couple little typos I have. The first one is step 2, find a critical value, look it up in the table. It should add in draw a picture. Write that in. You need to draw a picture. So write that into that part there now. And then step 3, find the test value, cross out p-value. I'm not going to make you guys find the p-value. That's a little bit extra stuff, and that's something we can cut, so we're going to cut it. That won't be on the exam. It might be an extra credit on the exam, but it won't be any problem on the exam. It might be like 2 points or 1 point on the exam as extra credit only. So find the test value and then cross out the p-value. You don't need to do that. All right, so I'm going to send you guys back into your groups. Do you guys need another like 10 minutes to work in groups, or are you guys kind of done with this? So give me a yes or a no in the chat, like yes groups or no groups. Got nothing so far. No, you guys are good. All right, you guys are all done. I got two no groups. I need more people. Good. Yeah, I know. Right? The people who are getting total A's are saying, okay, so you guys are really good? You guys really don't need 5 more minutes? Does anybody need 5 more minutes? You could, really? No one? I feel like someone might need 5 more minutes. So I am going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms for 5 more minutes. If you're already done, take a break for 5 minutes and we'll come back. But I feel confident like somebody's going to need 5 more minutes because all my other classes did. So